All right, so I haven't been on the pod for a little bit of time, and I just wanted to talk about. So the reason why I am not on the pod is because I am trying to learn how to speak Italian. I think I've always wanted to speak another language, and um, we have some opportunities to learn how to speak another language, so I'm going to do that. But I think it's been really interesting for me because I think so. So one thing that particularly, I think people have sort of a view of people in America that we don't sort of try to understand other cultures and things like that, but that's not true, right? Like I view myself as a complete immigrant in a very foreign country where I am in America is very different culturally than, where I grew up. And, I didn't sort of see those differences, but now I'm very well aware of them. And I grew up in Canada, and, there are some real big cultural differences in how we view the world. So, in particular, in Canada, maybe this is what I'm sort of seeing. Canada was very much, international was a very big thing, and we were very proud of our sort of international influence, being part of an international conversation. Being there, part of everything. We're very, very proud of that, and so it's very much a that was a big part of my identity was being international. No, not necessarily when I was growing up. That wasn't my sort of family didn't have that viewpoint. But as I was growing up and being part of more of the Canadian culture and reading the newspaper and things like that, that was a really big part of viewing the world. Now, the reason why I want to learn, I'm kind of like humming and hawing whether to learn more than one other language. So the easiest one we had to learn, I think I took until grade 10, French, but my French is terrible. But Italian and French are very similar, I find. So it's actually been very um, easy to sort of learn it. So to sort of pick up on some of these things. But the reason why I want to sort of learn these, not necessarily it's sort of fluently to like a grade 6 level, right? Like not necessarily I don't spend my life doing that, but just kind of like, moderately broken English kind of conversation, right? Or broken Italian, sort of conversational. And the reason is that I want to sort of show other people that, that I am, and I maybe that's the wrong terminology. I want to be part of more of an international conversation, and I think that's really important because I think a lot of issues are going on in the world right now. And I saw this term last week, deglobalization. And I think that's what's going on is that there's this very strong deglobalization um, not just within the United States, but across the globe, where we are going through a period of sort of globalization contraction, where we're not necessarily focused on being more global and international, where we're more focused on being more local. And, to me, this is a really big thing. And one way that I can um, remove some of my own to be an olive branch to show to to perhaps lend a hand to sort of culture that um, that it's okay to be part of other communities. Now I grew up in a so my grandpa, who I knew decently well growing up with him, fought in World War II. So there is a lot. I didn't necessarily have these feelings growing up, um, but I have these feelings now where I feel uncomfortable with how things turned out. Let's sort of say that in terms of what happened in World War II and what happened, in various different countries. And one way for me to get over this uncomfortableness, and this is like I'm being pretty open, um, is to learn some of these languages where um, so I can be be more understanding of why things happened in the way that they did. And so I can be more part of the solution than part of the problem. Because I think a big part of why things happen is simply because we put up barriers instead of having an open hand. Making sure that we honor and we respect other people's cultures, no matter how we feel about the past. And I think that that's an important part of what I'm going to do. And I'm I really do struggle with it. And reconciling that in my mind, of how to deal with some of these things of the past, because it wasn't that long ago. Um, and sort of reconciling what's going on in the present, I think it's important for me to be a strong advocate of understanding, being a strong advocate of um, being part of other people's culture. So, io sono parle italiano, uh, e io sono struggle with italiano con italiano, but ma uh, ma io sono try. So I basically said in a very broken English, broken Italian. I'm going to try to learn how to speak Italian, but I am gonna I'll struggle with Italian, but I will try. And I think that is an important part of what I'm gonna do over the next little bit, for many different reasons. But one of the reasons is the sort of cultural feelings that I have about the past, and for me to try to reconcile them in some healthy way. All right, take care and have a wonderful day.